This week is week 13, and one of the first things that I looked at was the new learners of the 21st century, and in doing that, it led me to pbs.org. I've been there before, but the website has changed, it's updated. One of the things that I actually went to was Kratz Creatures, and in there they had some games or a game, and I started playing that, and I was like, oh man, this is pretty cool. There's a lot of information, and they base the information on babies to third graders, and in that they also give information on for parents to try to help their children. We also worked with Google Sheets. I have done that before, just a regular old Excel type file. But this time we were to chart the planets with uh, their temperature on the sunny side, which I've learned that um, doing this, of course, the Earth has the best temperatures, but I also learned that the further away from Earth, of course, the more negative the temperatures are. When I graphed it, it was extremely difficult to get the numbers to the negative to show, but I did the best I could on that. It was a great learning experience putting that data in, trying to organize everything of how I wanted it to look. I thought that was pretty cool too. Um, we looked at some infographics, and one of them was an air traffic, 72 hours of air traffic flow. Uh, that was truly, truly amazing. I knew I did go overseas to Qatar, and I knew that when we were traveling over there, my first travel over there was over 12 hours. It was a very, very long flight. And by the time we got over to Qatar, it was nighttime. It wasn't quite muggy yet. But that was pretty interesting to me to actually see how the air traffic is done. When you first start thinking about air traffic, you think a plane leaving, say, Atlanta, Georgia, going over to England, you would go a straight shot. Well, I don't know that you can actually get a flight from Georgia to England, but the way the traffic goes, it goes up north and then over to the east. Um, I did look at the tools for infographics online. Canva, when I saw the Canva, it was the most basic, and I think they said that it was most user friendly. And the further we went down on that page, the more complex those systems, those types of infograph were. When you go to the video on High Tech High, one of them, um, the speaker talked about removing segregation, and he's talking about the purpose of technology is that they are using tools and that they were incorporating the different things. Um, One of the girls was actually doing a piece of artwork. It was really incredible. And she took math and she implemented that into that piece of art. There were cylinders, there were math problems, all sorts of things that she had on that particular. It was the the thing was a big, kind of like a whiteboard, is what it looked like to me, but it may not have been. Then I watched the video on Diane Roten, and she wanted to get the students to think about what happens when you take assets around biodiversity. She is also trying to get the tools and skills for the students to become creators and producers. She's wanting to get the word across to principals and teachers to understand that all this new learning is not just about media and crafts, it's also to use tools to get the content and skills that they're going to need out in the real world. And then I watched the video on education myths and opportunity, and I thought that that was pretty cool too, because the guy was walking around his own town talking about how the way the children would go out and work, and now that we've got all this technology, the kids don't need to work anymore, and maybe they need to make a contribution to their town in other ways.